Hello, and welcome to another Fantasy Premier League video. My name is Steve, and I'm in FPL Wonderland right now. I scored 84 points in game week 12. 84 glorious points with a game week rank of 89k, which is a stonking green arrow, and I'm up 1.8 million places in just one game week. And to be honest, that was very much needed as it saved my sanity. As the last few game weeks have been pretty testing. So I used my two free transfers in game week 12. The first one was to move Haaland out for his 2 points. And I also sold Foden for his 2 points. So they scored 4 points between them. And I bought in João Pedro for his 12 pointer. And I also bought in Salah to captain him, bringing in 26 points. That would have absolutely crushed my rank had I not made those moves. Now that's a 32-point swing, considering I probably would have captained Haaland had I held him, or potentially maybe even Palmer, which would have been just the same result. Now, the game week isn't over yet, as there are still some key Newcastle assets that are still to play tomorrow. But with the game week average only being 45 points for the game week so far, and the Newcastle assets not being too heavily owned, my green arrow is more than safe and secure this week. Thank God. So, before we jump into it, make sure to give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel, especially if you get any value out of the following content. Right, so if you've been following the channel for a while, I've been making moves towards this game week 12 fixture swing for the last few game weeks. And to be honest, killing it in the first week of the run is not only pretty satisfying, but it also comes with a fair amount of relief, as I was starting to question why I even play this game. Now, one thing I have noticed with running an FPL channel is the comments section does add a whole bunch more pressure to my season. Now, I often receive very well thought out and quite compelling ideas telling me exactly why I shouldn't make the moves that I am discussing making in these videos, which does actually add a whole new dynamic to my weekly decisions. Now, last week was no different. There was some very persuasive comments coming forward as to why I shouldn't sell Haaland and Foden. And so I thought I'd read out one in particular, as my response helps provide the main reasons why I followed through with this move, even though both Romero and Van de Ven, the two first choice centre backs at Spurs, were out of contention for the Man City match. And to Alexander McBrien, who dropped the comment, I'm not trying to dissuade you or anyone else from posing counter arguments to what I am putting forward. A part of the reason why I started the channel was to be able to have some more in-depth discussions about FPL. And so I totally value your comments, and I always welcome constructive disagreements, of which this was quite constructive. And so I don't think you'll mind me reading it out. So we're just down here. It says, hold Haaland for one last week and then sell him and spread the funds around, which is something I was seriously considering doing at some points throughout the week. Haaland just scored Haaland just scored a hat trick against Kazakhstan for Norway in the international break, and Spurs are very vulnerable right now, playing away from home after losing to a team like Ipswich. They also might be without Romero and Van de Ven, their two best defenders, and Bentancur has a 7-match ban as well. And KDB should be playing in the Spurs game. These are all very good points, which I did have to consider last week, clearly. Remember, as well, Spurs are terrible at defending set pieces, especially now. It will be even worse for them without their star centre halves. 15 million is just not worth it for the returns he has been getting lately and the fixtures coming up for City. However, I would hold him for just one last week, as this fixture is too good to give up in my opinion. So as you can see, quite well thought out, very good points, but I did still follow through with the move, and this is part of the reasons why. So I said, I wouldn't put too much weight in the Norway versus Kazakhstan performance. Well, Kazakhstan is not really known for their footballing prowess, I suppose. And there's no guarantee that KDB starts this weekend, which he didn't actually. Plus, I think Southampton's defense is probably still going to be more vulnerable than Spurs, even with Dragusin and Ben Davies playing in a worst case scenario. Because at the point when I wrote this response, Romero still hadn't been confirmed out. He was flagged. And if Salah scores a goal, then Haaland will probably need a goal and an assist or second goal to beat Salah's FPL score. And to top it all off, João Pedro is an ultra differential against Bournemouth this weekend, which I quite like the look of over a flagged Foden, especially considering I've got no bench cover if Foden misses out. Now, of course, Foden did come through and play the full 90 minutes. But on Haaland, he definitely had his chances to score. It's not like I sold him and he was just, absent in the match or anything. Just 4 minutes into the match, he took ages to shoot in a position that you just bank on him to score from, which is just not at all like the Haaland we've come to know in the Premier League. He had another huge chance at the 11th minute, which forced a decent save from Big Vic. But Haaland went near post, and it was virtually straight at Vicario, and without too much power. He had another good chance later in the game, but blazed it over the crossbar. He had another great chance from a really tight, well, not another great chance, sorry, another chance from a really tight angle, and managed to hit the crossbar with that shot. Then he had another great chance from a 1-2 with KDB, but again, it was Big Vic to the rescue. So Haaland definitely had more than enough chances to score, but he seems to be in a bit of a slump for playing for his club. I mean, he had just scored a hat-trick for Norway in the international break. But City just aren't gelling at the moment. There's some other things that I should probably note about City, which also helped me move through and confirm the move. So Kovacic was actually ruled out for a month, which is actually quite huge considering he was Rodri's replacement. Now, as we all know, Rodri is very key to the way that City, or how City function in that 4-1-4-1 system that Pep loves to roll out. Kovacic being the like-for-like replacement for Rodri, being out for the next month, meant the Pep had to go in and find new ways to construct his team. And I think it looked like he might have been playing a 4-3-3 at the weekend. So there was definitely going to be a bit of a pack reshuffle in the City lineup. I was actually picking John Stones to start in his spot alongside Lewis, but it was actually Gundogan who looked like he was playing the deeper lying role in midfield. Now, as I mentioned in that comment, I didn't actually think KDB was going to start this match, but it is only a matter of time before the Belgian gets back onto the starting lineup. And also, Foden did have some chances to score. And from the highlights that I saw, because I wasn't actually able to watch the game, excuse me, he did look like he was quite central and relatively high up the pitch in most of the attacking moves, looking like he was still playing in a similar position to what he has been while I've been holding him in the team. And part of the reason that I did also want to sell Foden was as soon as KDB was subbed in game week 11, he went straight into Foden's spot, which pushed Foden back out onto the wing, holding width, taking him even further away from goal. And so I was fairly confident that Foden was going to get at least some minutes out on the wing. So it was huge from Mo Salah to come in with a brace. He almost got himself a hat trick as he hit the post from the corner of the 6-yard box, thinking about the 87th minute, which would have just been, cherry on the top, I suppose. But it was actually my differentials coming through that gave me the massive rank rise. Now, had I not had Salah in the team, I think I would have still been on a green arrow, but it would have been quite a small green arrow. And so pulling the trigger on bringing Salah in is actually quite a clearly huge rank swing for this team. I bought João Pedro in after his 25-minute performance versus City in the game week prior, coming in off the bench where he scored a goal and an assist, saying that I think he would probably start the next game week given he wasn't called up to the Brazil squad and had the 2 weeks to be training with the Brighton team. Now, João Pedro did in fact start the match, scored a goal and an assist, luckily very early on in that match because Belieber managed to get himself sent off in the early stages of the second half. That 12 points was huge because not many managers would have actually held João Pedro through his 7-week injury hiatus, and he only just made it back to the squad in game week 11. So I think there was only about 300,000 managers that transferred in João Pedro for game week 12. So he was an ultra differential heading into this match. Nicholas Jackson, or hopefully Nicholas Costa or Diego Jackson, something along those lines. He scored a goal in the first 15 minutes of the match. He actually had a really good game, and I've been watching Nicholas Jackson quite closely as I've actually been watching quite a lot of Chelsea this season. So they are playing some pretty superb football. He got a goal and an assist. The assist was a bullet header from close range, which forced a save from the keeper. The rebound going straight to, can't actually remember who it went to now, and he tapped the ball home basically into a massive open gap as the keeper was still trying to recover from Jackson's shot. Jackson also set up Madueke with an epic weak foot cross from wide on a counter-attack, putting it perfectly into the path of Madueke for the volley, with Hermansen coming out, flailing at the ball, actually leaving a pretty open net for Madueke to just cushion the ball home into, but he got it all wrong. So Jackson could have actually had some more points there. My double Arsenal defense finally kept a clean sheet as I've been holding them for the longest run of blanks. It's great to see them finally come through. Canade, he's conceded 2 goals, got himself his 4th yellow card, so he's now walking the suspension tightrope, coming in with a 0-pointer in the game overnight. But Pedro Porro, out of the blue, I did discuss Porro last week, saying I don't think he's worth selling for a hit because he does still have enough attacking upside that I think it is probably worthwhile playing him in the City fixture, and the fact that City had quite a long injury list with key injuries to players like Kovacic just coming into the team, meaning they were going to need a reshuffle. But I was certain that Man City was going to score a goal here. I did not at all think that he was going to get a clean sheet to go along with his goal, assisted by Solanke as he hauled us to go up on the counter attack. Solanke pulled the ball back to him and he actually sunk a really nice finish. But pretty much everywhere else in the team was not much to write home about. Apart from Cole Palmer, though, I do think Cole Palmer had a really good game. He puts through some insane passes in that match. I mean, he assisted the assister for an offside goal, which was, barely offside, but the ball that he put through to, I think it was Cucurella out on the left wing, just splitting defenders where he's got like this much gap to just perfectly weight it into the penalty box. I mean, the man is he's just an amazing player to watch playing football. Love watching Cole Palmer. He also had a shot blocked by Madueke. Oh man. Madueke even tried to jump out of the way and it caught his trailing foot. It didn't even deflect into the goal, but deflected out past the post. I mean, it brought a smile to Cole Palmer's face. Did not bring a smile to my face when I watched that. I was like, oh, come on, mate. Like, anyway, 84 points. I am super stoked heading into game week 13. Now, there is Champions League matches this week, Tuesday and Wednesday New Zealand time. So don't go making any early moves yet. I'm heading into game week 13 with one free transfer and 6.3 million sitting in the bank at the moment. Now, I had floated some tentative ideas in the videos last week. My tentative idea was to remove Smith Rowe to bring Saka in for Arsenal's great run of fixtures, as I actually have more than enough money to do that with some left over to upgrade some players on my bench. Now, Smith Rowe did look pretty leggy in the match for Fulham. Early in the second half, there was a great counter attack where he just wasn't sprinting to get anywhere near where he needed to be involved in that flowing counter-attack move. Subsequently, he was actually pulled off before the 60-minute mark, and I was already a little bit nervous about Smith Rowe potentially being benched in the trickier fixtures, as he had been benched earlier this season against, I think it was Man City, in favour of a central defensive midfielder instead of Smith Rowe. And now with the pre-60-minute substitution, he's almost certainly going to be sold from my team this weekend. But of course, there are European fixtures midweek, and so we will need to see what comes out of that. But yeah, scored 84 points all out. I'm up 1.8 million places right now. I will fall slightly further down the ranks when the Newcastle scores come in overnight, but I will be back on Wednesday to discuss what I'm going to do with that 6.3 million in the bank and my one free transfer. And like I said, I'll probably be back on Wednesday, maybe Thursday this week, to cover off any key information that comes out of the European fixtures. But all right, well, that wraps up this video. So don't forget to like and subscribe and leave us a comment to tell us what you think. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you all next time.